Hello and welcome to LanguageCraft for the second episode of Let's Timelapse. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for your support. The first episode had a lot of very positive feedback, which is, it really feels good. This series is a lot of work, but it's all worth it. We're really proud of what we're doing. I have a couple of people working with me, and so we're really happy with how it's turning out. And just to clear up on the rhythm, it's a little bit special because I'm doing this after the French one, so it's going to be roughly one episode every 3 weeks, something like that. But at the beginning, it's going to be more often until we basically catch up with the French series, and then it'll be the week after or something like that. So yeah, every 2-3 weeks. Now here I had some very good ideas that were given to me. There were to have some before and after shots. I hadn't thought of that. I should have. It was a very good idea. And so anyway, here's the difference. So obviously that's the finished product. I hope we can see the difference. And now we're switching back, and so you can see on the right the original product, on the left the terraformed version. And so there we go. Pretty happy with how that turns out. You can really see the difference, but at the same time, you can see where the coastline stays the same. The river roughly has the same riverbed, things like that. You can definitely see where the inspiration came from. As for just a little clarification about the map, just want to reiterate, if you are interested in downloading this terraformed version, it is available for download. You'll have to go on the first episode though. It's in the description, and you are absolutely free to use it, but please do say where it comes from, things like that. And yeah, that's about it. Now, today is going to be a lot of talking. It's a little bit of a special episode because, as you remember last episode, I asked for a lot of input. A lot of people sent me their drawing as to what they imagined the village should be, and I got over 150 entries, which is huge. Very pleased with that, especially since it was only in a 1 week period. And so here they are. I put a selection of design and then organization. So in the first, on the one hand, design was that I didn't necessarily want to use where they place things, but I thought, they'd clearly made an effort, and I just liked the way it looked. So, sometimes it's pretty basic like that, and other times you have, images that were put in, or you have actual drawings. Some people clearly had some kind of tablets. Other people actually drew it, which I thought was really cool. Either they printed it or something like that. So anyway, I thought I wanted to show that. So design on the one hand, and then on the other hand, you have all the organization one. Those, I liked their placements. I liked where they put the different buildings, and sometimes it's just one building that I thought, ooh, that's a really good place for that. I'm gonna take that and place it. Sometimes it's just the rough shape. For example, here it's the fields. Other places, it's just a general feeling. Where they're gonna say, I think the village should be around here, and if I agree, then I'll put that in. And of course, if your drawing is not in there, it doesn't mean that I didn't like it at all. Don't worry about that. It's just that I needed to make a choice, and so these were the ones that struck me the most. Some of the entries are not here because they weren't in the theme. They didn't respect the theme. They were too modern. I did say that I wanted something specifically medieval, and so things that wanted a mall, that wanted a Ferris wheel, things like that, an airport, they didn't fit in, so I scrapped those, but who knows, maybe for next seasons. And anyway, now it's going to be time to look at my layout. I really blended everything together and put in my own input, of course. And so here is the final village, the final layout, how I imagine the village. And it's a blend of all my ideas, as well as all the cool ideas that I saw here and there on maps and thought, hey, that's a good idea. I need to put that in. So here's the basic, terraforming, and the first thing we're going to put is roads. Now, they're pretty simple. There aren't that many of them, but they're effective. They go pretty much everywhere, and you'll see that once we put all the other buildings in. And there, of course, will be smaller roads that are not on this map in the village. That'll just depend on the houses, things like that. Now, this orange shape is the village in itself. It's a bit of a strange shape, but you'll understand once we stick in all the other parts of it. And it's pretty much what I wanted. It's where a lot of other people saw it as well. And it's smack in the middle, and it's not too big, it's not too small, so I think this is going to be perfect. Here we've got the market. Now the market, as you know, we wanted this to be a village on the coast, so it's going to be very important thanks to the harbors, and it's going to be one of the hearts of the village. And the other heart of the village, because this is medieval times, is going to be the church. Now, the church, as you see, is pretty close to the center, facing east, of course. And the lake that's just behind it has actually been pushed back because I wasn't too happy with that area and it was too close to the village, so that has all been pushed back a little bit. Now the sheriff, I don't even know if I'm going to leave him there. Now the sheriff, of course, is going to be there for law and order, and I might even leave him there, or I might put him towards the southeast to kind of guard that entrance to the village, because here is the castle. Now obviously the sheriff works for the lord in the castle, and as you see, it's kind of a strange placement like that, but I think it's going to be really efficient because the castle controls the north access to the village, and because of, thanks to the bridge that's going to go across straight to the market, it can get in the village itself extremely quickly. So it's pretty well defended. I think it's going to be a good placement for that. Now we've got the harbors. Now we've got the trade harbor in the village itself, and the fishing one that's farther out. Obviously trade was important so that you could go to the market, and it just feels like that's where it should be. Fishing, not so important, not as heavy, and they bring it in once in a while. We have the lighthouse. Everyone wanted it there, and I agree, that's where I wanted it as well. So the lighthouse is going to be there. Obviously very important. It's between the two harbors, so that's perfect. And towards the north we're going to have the monastery. That's something that came from someone's layout. I thought it was a very good idea, A, to have a monastery, and B, to have it so isolated. You put it up, surrounded by forests, it'll be really good, and it looks very big. It looks even bigger than the castle, but keep in mind that it's going to be much lower, and a lot of that is going to be air. I mean, it's going to be empty, or be vineyards, things like that, so don't worry, it's not going to be that big. Let's see, towards the west we're going to have fields, a lot of fields, because you need to feed the village. Keep in mind that it's close to the river, it's not close to the sea, because Oya pointed out that if it was next to the sea, A, it would die because of the seawater, and B, the wind would just blow everything apart. So what we're going to do is, on the other side, we're going to put a forest. So here you have in green all the forests that are going to surround the area, and we're going to have them pretty dense on that western shore to protect from the wind. And then finally, just a couple little things, couple manors there, and then just buildings to kind of give life to the map. Now enough talking, this has gone on long enough, let's get down to the roads. Now first of all, if you look closely, you can see that I'm removing the plants, I'm drawing the roads. And the reason why I'm doing this, so it's a simple brush to get rid of plants, rather than actually tracing the roads, is because if I do something wrong, I can go back over it. Now you see there, I'm drawing a couple things, and I'm not quite happy with the curve, so I just start over again. It's no big deal, and I don't have gravel and things everywhere, so it's very easy that way, and I can do over as many times as I want. But here we go with the actual road now. It's mainly gravel. There is a bit of cobblestone, there's some soul sand, there's some dirt, because it gives this really dirty medieval road feel. And it's something that I had a lot of trouble doing, these roads that are not straight. I'm someone who likes things to be really perfect, really straight, and this was hard, but definitely much better looking for something that's medieval like this. So very happy with this. It looks pretty good, and it's a good blend. Wherever you see that there's a block, that it goes up a block, I'm then going to put cobblestone slabs. So that's going to allow us to go up and keep that feel, kind of dirty roads. And you can notice that it goes on its way to the village there, it goes across the river. Now, what could we put across the river but the first important structure of the village that stays in this theme that we have of this episode for the organization, for the axis of the village. A bridge. Of course, a bridge. Now, this is the first structure, and it's the beginnings of the village. It's the beginnings of the style, and I hope to show you as well the kind of the amount of detail I'm going for. I've got to admit that this was I think the fourth time I did the bridge, because I did it once just to kind of first structure, so I wanted to get in the style, see what I wanted, and then my recording crashed a couple times. So anyway, it's very smooth, I do it very quickly, and I hope you can still grasp how I organized it in my thoughts, how it's made really. And so I wanted it to be low. I don't think ships will go up this river, so it's very low. Obviously no ship could go under that, but I wanted to keep those archways. I think they look really good, and that allows us to have big posts. So it looks good. And the other thing I was going for, which you're going to see in 1 second, is I don't want to have one of these bridges that's just cobblestone or wood. And so you see I'm putting gravel. So I'm staying in this theme of all the other roads. So I'm going to put gravel, and then I'm going to replace it with cobblestone here and there, with soul sand. And the big challenge then for this bridge is going to be to hide that gravel. First, we're going to put a couple lights so you can see something at nighttime. We're using glowstone, but we're going to cover them up with trapdoors, because I think that glowstone is really nice. It looks like a lantern, but it's a bit aggressive. It's a bit too yellow for me when you've got your face up in there. So trapdoors hides that, and they look really good. So, you know, people who did the John Smith, this is John Smith Legacy, you did a good job. Anyway, here we go. We just keep normal fences, nothing too fancy, but it's might look good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. And then just something to go up them and replacing the gravel and all, just to make it finished. And now we're gonna have a closer look. So here it is. Here is the view you'll have when you're coming into the village, walking in, and across you'll see the village. It looks pretty authentic. I'm pretty happy with it. And you've got these big posts that give it a lot of strength, I find. And I'll take advantage of the opportunity to note that it's a time-lapse in the correct sense. It's not an inverted time-lapse. We do a lot of those actually for our team time-lapses, but this I find is much more interesting in this direction, so that you can see the real process. So here we are across, we're across from there now. We're on the kind of arm on the western side. There's the bridge, and on the far side there you'll have the location of the future village. Not much building this episode, I know, but I thought it was very important to have the structure, to work on the structure of the village. It's very important before you launch into anything else. And in the next episode we'll start building with a couple houses to establish the pattern. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.